And so fear, and almost all of us probably have heard this acronym of fear, FEAR, false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. And so that hit me this morning when I woke up. I was like, yeah, false evidence appearing real. I heard that years ago. But now I have a new outlook on that. I have a new understanding. I have a new perspective concerning the false evidence part, and then the appearing real part, the false evidence part, and then the appearing real part. And so we're talking about fear, and we're finishing up this week. Happy Friday to everybody who's coming on. So, my first statement I made this morning when I was typing up notes was fear is a distraction. We're talking about false evidence that appears real. That can only mean that it's a distraction. If it's false evidence that appears real, that means it's not real, but it appears real. Then it's only a distraction, right? So, a distraction to what? That's my question. So, this is going to be filled with questions that I want you to answer in a way that's kind of rhetorical. So, distraction to what? Good morning, happy Friday to you. So, a distraction to what? Fear is a distraction. Fear is a distraction to what? To what? I talked about the rewards for facing fears, right? I talked about this on Tuesday, I believe, or Wednesday, and the rewards were territory. There are rewards for facing your fears. What are the rewards? The rewards for facing fears are territory. The second one I gave was confidence. When you face fears, it will enlarge your territory because there's something on the outside of that, right? That fear is a wall. Once you break that wall of fear down, you've entered into new territory. So the first reward of facing fears and conquering fears is territory. The second reward for conquering fears is confidence. Once you break that wall of fear down, you now understand your confidence is automatically has increased. Your confidence has automatically increased. Your confidence has already come to another level. You've raised your confidence to another level. Anytime you can get past a fear, your confidence has grown. As soon as you step in, your confidence is in. Like it's like when you step in the building, guess what? You're in. You're in, and your confidence has grown. The third thing is doors of opportunity. When you conquer fear, doors of opportunity is the reward to you. It's the reward. When you conquer a fear, there's an opportunity that opens up. Opportunities open up. Think about any fears. Think about all the fears you've conquered in your life. It opened up windows of opportunity. It opened up doors of opportunity for you. Be it, I'm just gonna go after this job. I might not get it, but I'm gonna give my best. And guess what? Opportunities opened up. Even if it wasn't that job, I've went after a job and it was like, well, you can't get that one, but because you went for this one, I think this job right here might be a good fit for you. And so doors of opportunity. But had I not went for the interview and faced that fear of being rejected, right? Then I wouldn't have even known about the opportunities. And when you conquer fear, it brings you into the land of opportunities. Even opportunities you weren't even looking for that you didn't even expect. It's going to bring you into that. The fourth reward for facing fear is breaking cycles. Breaking cycles. And that's why I say choose you all the time, because choosing you is usually a cycle breaking mindset. You're going to break cycles and stop cycles right in their track and say, you know what? I'm going to turn you around, send you on your way, and I'm going to create something new. I'm going to create something new. It can be your family. It can be cycles with your own life. I just been doing this. I've been afraid to step in the gym. I don't want, but then you just break that cycle. And now you're starting to turn the tides and turn it to the other side, right? So, in the fifth and last reward I shared the other day was when you face fears, you pave the way for others. So now you're doing something that has the greater good of other people that's in your life, people around you. And that's a great reward. Anytime you know that you conquering a fear will pave a way for other people, it's for the greater good of others, that will feed your courage more than anything. When you know something that you can do is bigger than you, then now I'm encouraged to do it. It's bigger than me. It's going to help more people than just myself. It's going to help my family. It's going to help my community. It's going to help, my friends. Then that will give you more courage to face and conquer that fear. And so So fear is a distraction. Fear as a distraction, it is distracting you from what? These rewards. It's distracting you from this. It's distracting you from paving the way for others, making life better for other people. It's distracting the doors of opportunity. You gaining more confidence. You gaining territory. Remember, battle is the seed for territory. So fear is a distraction to that territory. Fear says, I want you to focus on me instead of the reward on the other side of me. Because once you get over there, there's nothing I can do anymore. Fear is gone, right? The moment the word was habituate, that means you make something that was foreign, you make it an habit. Fear has it's totally disintegrated. It's gone. It's gone. You know, you may have been afraid to drive. The moment you get in there and start driving, guess what? That fear is evaporated. It's gone. And so fear is a distraction. It is a distraction, but we must ask some questions. It distracts. This word distraction says to draw away or to divert as the mind or attention. To draw away, to disturb greatly in the mind. Mental distress or derangement, to derange, right? So why? The question is, if fear was actuality, then why would it need to draw you away from the rewards? So if fear was your actuality, so if fear was your actual reality, actuality is the same as actual reality. If it was your actual reality, your tangible reality, then why is it trying to distract you? Why is it trying to divert your attention away from the rewards? Guess what? It's not your actuality. Fear is not your actuality. And remember, we talked about common sense fear. When I'm not talking about common sense fear when I'm speaking of fear, like fear of, crossing the street, crossing a busy street. Okay, that's just common sense fear, right? I'm talking about fears that try to halt your achievement, fears that try to stand in the way of your achievements, fears that stand in the way of your ambitions. Those are the fears I'm talking about. So if fear was your actuality, why would it need to draw you away from the rewards? Okay, that's a question. That's a question I want you to ask your fears. I want you to ask yourself concerning your fears. Okay, this fear. Like I said earlier this week, I had a fear of public speaking. Okay, I fear people gonna laugh. Okay, so if people laughing at me or me being uncomfortable, if it was my actuality, then and my actual reality, then why is it trying to divert the attention? Now, instead of looking at the content on what I'm saying, now I'm looking at how people are looking at me. So what is it? Well, maybe this fear is trying to hinder me from saying something that could help someone. So instead of focusing on the distraction, I'm going to look at the content. I'm going to look at what is there. What's the fight? What's the big fuss for, right? What's this big fuss for? Your ambition comes with a cost, okay? This is just a point. Your ambition comes with a cost. Your achievements come with a cost. It's because there's a price. There is a price for your ambition. It's danger. It's a danger your ambition poses to gain territory. Your ambition, your achievements pose a danger to territory, to uncharted territory, uncharted waters. Your ambition poses a threat, okay? It poses a threat. The prize, right? There's a prize. Your ambition poses a threat to somebody who's trying to go after the same prize. Okay? Not even a person, but a thing. There's a prize there. Your ambition poses a threat against getting that prize. Well, that prize is now separated from the mantle and now you got it. It's separated and now you have it. Anything of value will cost you something. The greater the value, the more it will cost. And the greater the value, the more you're willing to risk. The greater the value of something, the more you're willing to risk. So this is a season where many of you are experiencing resistance, right? Many of you are experiencing resistance in these moments, this season, this month. I've been getting calls, like I said earlier. I've been getting calls this week, this month, like not like May. This is and cause all this resistance, all this fear, all these different things that are posing against us. And you know what I want to say to you? When the resistance is high, you ought to be most excited. You ought to be at your highest excitement when the resistance is high. When resistance is high, seasons of high resistance ought to be seasons of excitement. Moments of resistance should be seasons of excitement. Because why? Moments of resistance means you're closer to the prize. You are closer to the prize. When you have greater resistance, that means you're closer to the prize, not further away from it, right? Not further away from it. When you're far away from something, there's no resistance. There's no resistance. But the closer you get to something worth it, the closer you get to something valuable, the resistance gets high. It gets high. I do a lot of weddings and stuff, and the closer the wedding gets, the more it's like, oh, this pressure, all this stress. Well, guess what? You're close. It's about to be here, and it's going to be over, and now you can relax. But when you're 2 years away, there's no resistance. There's no prize yet. The prize is not in sight yet. But when that prize gets in sight, when you get closer to that thing, the resistance is going to grow. And this is something that should cause you to be excited, not discouraged, to be encouraged, because I know I'm getting closer. So, so excitement. And when I say excitement, I don't mean excitement to the point where you're careless or lax, as if you've won already. Because see, when you get the resistance, you shouldn't get excited as if I've won, the battle is over. No, not that type of excitement. Not that type of excitement. I'm talking about an excitement that brings your focus to a higher place, where your focus begins to be increased, and your awareness is just goes to another level. So the more resistance you're facing right now, the more resistance you're facing, the higher your focus should be in tune. You ought to have a focus that just gets closer and smaller. Your focus gets smaller and smaller, right? Your focus gets smaller and smaller, because why? There's a prize I'm getting close to. So now it's just like when you're running this marathon, and you see people do it all the time. They're running, and then they see the finish line. They see the finish line, and they see all these people cheering. And then that's when everybody that's in competition, their focus just totally. They're not thinking about how tired they are anymore. They're not thinking about how weary they are. They're not thinking about how far I've come from. They're thinking, I see a prize. And the closer you get to that prize, the more resistance, but the more excited you ought to be. The more focused on that prize you have to be. And so guess what? Fear is distracting you from that finish line. It's distracting you from that reward. So realize the higher that fear is, the more you got to really start asking some questions, right? This is a time where you must accurately assess your fears. You must accurately assess your fears. And what do I mean by that? Like I said, I've been getting a lot of calls, and it's been causing me to have to go back and explain some of the principles that I gave this week in helping us how to break down fear, how to define fear, break it down so that you're not just running away from it, but you're actually intellectually, you are conquering those fears. You know what they are. You have knowledge. You're not ignorant of them. You know exactly what your fears are. You know why it's here. You know what it's trying to distract me from. You know all these things. And so the 5 things I brought up about fear, how to accurately assess your fear, is the 5 I's. Really quickly, I gave this, I think, on Tuesday. Interpret, intercept, improve, interest, impairments. First, interpret it. Break that thing down. Break those fears down. Write them down. I fear this because I fear if I do this. Mine was football. I had a fear of football, right? I fear I might if I get hurt, if I get hit, it's gonna hurt. That's a fear of mine. Write it down. Okay. So the first thing you must do is interpret your fears. The second thing, you must intercept them. So now, okay, if the reason for fear is getting hurt, now, secondly, how can I intercept that? How can I keep from getting hurt? Okay, I can make moves. I can get stronger. I can get faster. If I'm about to get hit, I can create more speed and hit them. So now I'm not getting hurt. I might put a hurt on somebody, or I might make a move. So now I've intercepted my reason for fear. That's the second one, is intercept. First one is interpret. Second one, intercept. The third, are there any improvements? Will I die if I face this fear? If I conquer this fear, if I do get injured, if I do get hurt, is it the end of the world? If it does hurt when I get hit, is it the end of the world? If I do go into this interview that I fear and I don't get the job, is it the end of the world? Or is there still another job for me to have? Okay, so you must look at the improvements. Can I get better? If people do laugh at me when I publicly speak, is it the end of the world? Am I going to die? Or if I face this fear, is there anybody else that's faced my fear that survived and now are flourishing? Right? Because once you face that fear, guess what? The element of fear comes down a little bit. That actual emotion, it comes down. It's not as strong as it was because you're like, oh man, yeah, I lost, but it wasn't as bad. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad as I originally thought. So now I can go back to the drawing board and make improvements. So the third thing to conquer fear is improvements. I will survive. I will survive. Right? That song was in my head. I'm sorry. So improvements. The fourth one is interests. What are the rewards? What are the interests? What's the interest concerning this fear? If I conquer this fear, what's the reward? I asked the question the other night. Excuse me. Do you think Money Mayweather would just jump into the ring without knowing the purse? He knows the purse before he ever steps in that ring. So why don't you break down your rewards first before you go in? Because see, the reward is going to encourage you to go forth, right? The reward of facing fear is going to give you the courage to conquer it. And I said this earlier, the reward. You'll see, in the movies that you see mostly in the movies now, Wanted, or you look at America's Most Wanted, it'll say, wanted, this person wanted, then it'll say the reward is $100,000, right? They know the bigger the reward, the more courage you'll have to face that thing. The bigger the reward, the more courage you have to face your fears. Guess what? You must be in tune. You must be an expert on the rewards that are on the other side of that fear. Be an expert on it. Be an expert on it. That's why Money Mayweather got in the ring with Conor McGregor. He didn't get in the ring just because it's about ego. I want to beat this dude up. No. He knew the reward is hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. That's the reward. Oh, I'm getting in this ring. And if you are in tune with the rewards, you will get in that ring. You will conquer that fear when you know and understand the reward is great. Now, if the reward isn't great, then what's the fuss? Don't be bothered. If the reward isn't great, then that's probably not even a fear, because you won't be afraid of, there won't be fear if there's no great reward attached to it. So if there's a great reward, that's what's going to build your courage to conquer that fear. So break your fears down, break them down, interpret them, intercept the reasons of them, then make those improvements, and then look at the rewards, focus on the rewards, because usually the fear is trying to distract you from the rewards. It wants to distract you from the rewards. And then the last one was, what are the impairments? What damage will be done if I don't conquer this fear? What damage will be done to my family, to me, to the people I love the most if I don't conquer this fear? If I don't conquer this giant, he's going to keep taunting my family. When I know I'm the one who has the ability to conquer it, just like David, I can do it. Y'all don't have to fear anymore. I'll go conquer this giant. And then once the giant is conquered, we all partake in the victory. We all share the spoils. That is what you need. That's the mentality that you have to have, because you have the ability to conquer any giant that you're facing. You have the ability, but you got to look at the impairments. How long? That's why I said break those cycles. How long? How long will you allow this giant to keep taunting you, taunting your family? Choose you. Look at the reward. There's a reward. What's the reward? Man, if I conquer this giant, all of us will be able to go through. All of us will be better. All of us will get stronger. I'll have knowledge that I can give all of you for free, right? So always know the impairments. Know those things. So this is a time where there is a fight for your focus. And that's what I want to deal with. There's a fight for your focus. Fear is a fight for your focus. Remember, it's not your actuality. It's not your actual reality. Because anything that's your actual reality, what do you have fear for now? If it's my reality, then it's real. It's here. No, fear is not actuality. Fear is not your actual reality. So I must realize that this fear is trying to move my focus. And whenever the fear is coming against you, you know there's a fight for your focus. There's a fight for your focus. And so I want to look at this. And what's a fight for your focus? How do I fight for your focus? How do I fight to gain your focus? I fight to gain your focus away from the rewards by threats. By threats, right? The threat is a fight for your focus. It's a fight to to derail your focus away from what you're chasing, away from what you're trying to achieve, away from the reward and on to me. That's what a threat does. That's what fears pose threats, right? Fears pose threats. What is a threat? A threat is a declaration of an intention. Watch this. A declaration of an intention or determination to inflict punishment, injury in retaliation, or conditionally upon some action or course. So the threat says, if you cross this line, I'm going to break you. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you, right? So now, instead of focusing on what's on the other side of this line, I want you to focus on the injury, the punishment. That's what a threat is. That's what a threat is. So in essence, if you cross over here to this, if you cross over here to this prize, if you try to get this prize, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. But let's think about this. Let's break this threat down. Okay? Immediately, I need to freeze. Not freeze in terror. I need to freeze my physical actions, but my mental actions need to be just going off the charts. I need to be going off the charts in my mind, asking questions. Okay, so I need to immediately ask some questions mentally. There needs to be some action, right? What is this? The process of mental action needs to take place whenever threats are coming against you. Whenever threats come against you, your mind ought to enter into a process. The first question you need to ask, what's on the other side of this threat? What's on the other side of this line? Okay? What makes what's over there so valuable that there's a threat posed against me? Right? Just think about that. What's so valuable? What's so valuable about what's on the other side that's making a threat, where a threat is posed against me? Right? What makes it so valuable? I was watching this this show, and it was a court case where it was a murder case. And this guy, the suspect, he's sitting there at the bench, and then this witness walks in. This witness walks in, and the moment this female witness walks in, the suspect, he was threatening her. He got caught. The judge caught him threatening her. He was threatening her, like telling her, no. Okay, no, what's this big deal? What's the threat for? Okay, what's the threat for? What's so valuable about the other side of this? What are you trying to distract me from, threat? What are you trying to distract me from? It must be something valuable if you're getting antsy, right? If you're getting so antsy. So the reason this threat is because you feel threatened that you're going to lose something that I have power to take from you. So whenever you feel fear, you must really look at the reality of it is you have something. It's something about you that actually poses the threat. You actually pose the real threat. Whenever fear is coming against you, then guess what? You pose the threat. The threat is not against you. The threat is on your side. You're threatening to gain something. You're threatening to take territory. When that female witness walked in that courtroom, it brought utter terror to this suspect because he knew she saw it all. She holds the key to my freedom. So I must try to hurry up and get in front of this and try to threaten her. Guess what? She wasn't afraid. And brother, you're going to jail. That brother went to jail for life. He went to jail for life. So what about the threats that are coming against you right now? What about these threats? What does it really say about you? It says about you that you have what it takes to win the prize. You have what it takes to win the prize. Think about it. Think about the dude who's got a girl, right? You got your little girlfriend, and y'all walking through the halls, and then your girlfriend sees another dude. And then now you walk up to the dude like, hey man, leave my girl alone, dog. Don't look at my girl, man. What should that do? What does that do to you? That should bring confidence. That should feed your confidence. Whenever fear comes against you, it ought to feed your confidence. Because what did it say? What is that threat? Now, that lets me know I'm a formidable opponent. You just let me know. You just let the cat out the bag. So when threats come against you, it lets you know that you have what it takes to win the prize. So now the dude who was threatened, in his mind, he's like, man, you just let me know your girl's into me. Because if you're not threatened by me, It's no big deal. You know, I'm married and I've been married almost 10 years. I have zero threats. Zero threats, right? Nobody gonna just come take my way. I don't even focus on that. I can focus on the reward. I can focus on my prize. I can focus on just enjoying her. I don't focus on threat. There are no threats, right? But if there's a threat, that lets that opponent know, man, you have what it takes. You about to take my girl from me, man. That's what the prize is. The prize is looking at you. Your achievements are looking at you saying, you got what it takes. Just come get me. Come get me. Come get me. Come get me. Don't worry about this fear. Don't worry about this fear. You have what it takes. Ooh, if your prize could talk to you, if your prize, if your achievements, if your future achievements could talk to you, you know what they would say? You have what it takes. Stop focusing on the fear and focus on me. This is your prize talking to you. Focus on me. Don't focus on the threat. That threat, that's what that threat is afraid of you. That threat knows that if that threat feels threatened. Isn't that something? The threat felt threatened. The threatener, the guy who threatened the witness, he was the one who felt threatened. That's why he went out of his way to say, you better not say nothing. Okay, well, I might as well say everything because I'll never, and guess what? Her courage to not buy into the threat. And that's a point. Don't buy into the threat, y'all. The courage she had to not buy into the threat, it not only saved future lives, because dude was a killer. In this case, he was a killer. He would have killed more people, right? Killers kill, right? He would have killed more people. And then it brought peace to the family. It brought closure to the family, a sense of justice to all the families this dude, he killed their loved ones. Just that one woman became a hero because she didn't buy into the threat. And so I'm telling you, don't buy into the threats that are coming against you. Those threats are to feed your confidence that you have what it takes to win. You are a champion. So you got to think like one. Champions don't buy into the threats of their opponents. They don't buy into it. They don't let their opponents get an easy win. Remember I said people who threaten or who try to intimidate, they're just trying to get an easy win. Intimidation is the goal of an easy win. The goal of intimidation is an easy win. That means I can beat you before we step in the ring, right? Muhammad Ali, I'm going to threaten you. I'm going to terrorize you before we step in the ring. So that way, by the time we step in the ring, you're so afraid I've already beat you, right? I've already got you. I've already gotten you. And so I want to end with this. Fear is actually a friend because it lets you know that you have what it takes. You have what it takes. You have what it takes. False evidence appearing real. Focus on the prize. Focus on the prize. Focus on the prize. And so I got to go. Got a meeting starting in a couple of minutes. But I just wanted to encourage y'all going into this weekend. Look at your fears, break them down, write them down, interpret them, intercept, improve, and remember, focus on the prize. Remember that's my favorite scripture. Forgetting what's behind me, things that lie ahead of me. And what is it? He says, I'm reaching for the prize of the high calling. When you stretch yourself to the prize, you're going to pull yourself out of your present and into your future. Let your destiny pull you forward by the prizes. The prizes is great. You have great prizes that are waiting for you to come and snatch them up. Come and get them. Face your fears. Face them to erase them. You erase your fears when you face your fears. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Hope this helps somebody. God bless y'all. Love y'all.